Base game or spaced out? Which DLC should I buy? All of them? And what's an asteroid style? Destination, traits, settings. Ah! I know your pain. This is why I made this two-part series for people who can't quite get into the game or are coming back from a long hiatus. In this one, you'll learn everything you need to know before you start the game, so you don't have to regret making the wrong choices later. In the second video, I will tell you all about the DLCs and whether I think you should buy them. So let's take it step by step. Let's assume you already have all the DLCs. Do you click this button to enable Spaced Out or not? Well, the difference between the base game and Spaced Out mostly comes down to the way rocketry works. In the base game, all you have to do is build a rocket, send it to space, and then wait for it to return. In Spaced Out, however, you can interact with all the asteroids and build bases on them if you wish. Also, in the base game, your asteroid is showered by iron, gold, and copper meteors, while in Spaced Out most meteors are possible, and they will be different from asteroid to asteroid, or there will be none at all. In this game, you will often want to build some design and you'll hit the wall of needing material A, which you can only make if you have material B, only unlocked after doing C. It's easier in the base game to get hold of all the materials than in Spaced Out, even if you choose the classic start. We'll talk about it later. And depending on the starting asteroid, you will eventually have to manage more than one colony. If this doesn't scare you, then enable Spaced Out and don't look back. If it does scare you, or keeping one colony running for you is hard as it is, well, don't throw away Spaced Out just yet. Spaced Out also adds radiation to the game, plant mutations that allow seeds to have some unique properties, and materials and buildings associated with radiation. Materials Study Terminal in particular is required for all advanced research, which greatly complicates it, though once you get a hang of handling radiation safely, it stops being a problem. It also adds new critters to the game, such as plug slugs which generate electricity, divergents which pollinate plants, and beetles which produce radiation, plus some plants which are nice to have but aren't necessarily better than those in the base game. If all of this sounds exciting, go ahead and buy or enable Spaced Out. I personally think that it adds a lot more replayability and late game content. If you're scared of having to manage multiple colonies or it's just not your playstyle, then here's how you can still get the most out of your DLC without sacrificing anything. In New Game, click Classic and choose Terra, the first asteroid, for standard starting experience. This will be your base game map with all the perks of Spaced Out, except to get the Spaced Out critters and plants you might have to either get them from the printing pod or eventually travel to space. With this, you will not be forced to travel to other planets, but will be able to do it on your own terms, to A. finish the game and B. get the late game materials or DLC content if you want to. Now, you will be able to essentially play the base game but also have the option to engage with Spaced Out content once you're ready. This way, you won't have to abandon your colony as you would have to in base game once you realize you really want to fly to space. All of the other asteroids that you can choose are also viable options, but all they do is change up how you play the game at the start and into the mid-game. I discussed the other DLCs and asteroids in the second video of this two-part series, click here to watch it. For now, let's go back to choosing the asteroid style. So what about these other two options? If you choose Spaced Out, regardless of the asteroid you pick, it will be very small and will not be able to provide everything you want in your colony. For example, there will be no oil biome, so unless you have Dracos, bonbon trees or Mimicas, Nits and Lura plants from Prehistoric Planet Pack DLC, you will be forced to go to second or even third closest asteroid just so you can build, for example, steam turbines, which are essential to heat management and most advanced builds. If you choose the lab, these will be your alternative experiences, basically if you've played the game before and are looking for an extra challenge. Currently, there's 3 maps available if you own all the DLCs, or 1 if you don't own any. Skewed Asteroid, which spawns the world at a 45-degree angle, Relic from Prehistoric Pack DLC, which sends a giant meteorite your way that you have 10 cycles to prepare for, and Blasted Series from Frosty Planet Pack DLC, which consists of 2 parts, separated by space. By the way, regardless of which asteroid you choose and which traits and biomes you enable in your game, you will still have the same endgame objectives. Okay, we figured out asteroid styles, let's choose one of the options and see what settings we have for the actual game. So the first thing you'll notice is coordinates. This is the parameter that allows you to save, share and reuse the settings and the layout of the map if you like. If you wish, you may look through mapsnotincluded.org to find the map you like, just don't forget to filter it by the parameters you've set and the DLCs you've enabled. And also do consider clicking the coffee icon on the website and donating a bit to its owner, lest the website disappears just like some of the other great websites for oxygen not included. Do note that if you have mods enabled that add some new world traits to the game, then none of the coordinates you copy will work. But how do you know which world traits to look for? Well, let's explore. So for the purposes of this video, I have enabled the world generation settings mod, which lets you choose which traits you want your asteroid to have. This is an alternative to changing the seed, but unlike looking up a map and copying its seed, this doesn't let you choose specific vents, volcanoes and geysers, so might be preferable if you want to have some control but still want to experience some joy of discovery. If you're not playing Spaced Out but have chosen to stick with the base game, you will only have one asteroid, and Terra will not have any unique traits unless you use the world generation settings mod to enable them. Now, let's look at each. So here's how the subsurface ocean looks. It basically replaces all the regolith and debris from meteorites with salt water. Fresh satellites means that you'll find satellites like this on your map. They will have databanks and then also either word seeds or an atmos suit in them. They will also provide loads of radiation that will make your duplicants sick if they interact with it, but they are not good for your colony because they provide free radiation to power your material science research, kill germs, mutate plants, power interplanetary launchers, or fuel up your red bolt engines. Only available in Spaced Out, just like Frozen Friend. Frozen Friend means that there will be a dupe with random traits in a cryo capsule that you can awaken. It's like blindly printing a random dupe from a printing pod. More often than not, you won't be happy with what you get. Metal Poor and Metal Rich are self-explanatory, but Metallic Caves means that you will have these kinds of patches on your map where you can find some metal ore. This can also spawn metal ores that wouldn't typically spawn on the asteroid, like the cobalt ore here. This is how large glaciers look. Slime Mold. If you're not starting on Terra and own Frosty Planet Pack DLC, you might want to have this trait enabled to enjoy the best early game food, pemmican. My video about it is available here and in the description. Geodes may be the best traits. They will be scattered across your map and will have rare resources such as coal, copper ore, iron ore, uranium ore if you're playing Spaced Out, etc. and are usually encased in diamonds, obsidian or abyssalite. They can also contain immense amounts of some gas like oxygen or natural gas like here. You can imagine how useful they can be, especially at the start, unless you get a chlorine geode, or carbon dioxide or a neutronium one. Geoactive trait adds 4 more geological features and might seem like a bad deal if you're new to the game, but vents and geysers are extremely powerful sources of infinite resources, and once you learn how to tame them, you'll appreciate them. I would say it's a great trait, especially for beginners, as you get to learn how to use all the natural features. Geodormant is the opposite of that and could be very painful to play depending on what vents and geysers you do get. Radioactive crust only exists in Spaced Out and creates radioactive pockets of uranium ore. Uranium ore is very scarce, so the trait can be very useful if you are looking to make use of radiation in this game. Frozen core replaces whatever is at the bottom of your asteroid, usually magma, with ice and snow. This is great for setting up all your industries as it will give you a great temperature buffer before anything starts to overheat, but in the long term it might be a negative because magma is a great source of energy. Also, half of your geysers might appear in the frozen core like this, which is suboptimal. Lush core is the same, but instead of ice you get forest biome, which is one way to get aluminum ore, pips and arbor trees without going to space, but you're trading massive amounts of energy from magma for it. Spaced Out only. Volcanic activity means you'll have lots of volcanoes all over the place. Irregular oil just means that some of the patches of oil from the underground are moved higher. Magma channels just means that magma won't be just horizontal at the bottom of the map as it always is, but will flow slightly vertically too. Trapped oil means that there won't be as many pools of crude oil as typically. All the types of boulders basically place pockets of obsidian on your map. The main advantage of obsidian is that it's nearly impossible for it to melt. So now on the right side you can see an overview of all the asteroids and traits you'll have in your universe. At the bottom there will be story traits listed. These can be changed from story traits tab. There is no advantage to disabling them, so I advise you just let them be and discover them for yourself without looking up what they do. All of them are also available in the base game. Right under story traits we have game settings. Wait, World Gen Seed? Didn't we already talk about it? Well, sort of. The coordinates that we change to the main screen change everything at the same time. For example, if I choose the wrong filters on the Maps Not Included website and paste some random world seed, my starting asteroid will change. If I added just the seed in the settings, only the traits and the layout of the map that I chose will change. All of these settings I wouldn't touch at all unless you know exactly what you're doing. And you should leave sandbox mode unchecked. This is something that will let you instantly build things without having the materials and spawn critters, materials and such, and is useful for testing designs, but there is no reason to check it at the start. In fact, I do advise it that if you're new to the game, you test the design in Sandbox and see if it works before you build it, because wasting too much time on a project only to have it fail can kill your colony. The thing is that you can always enable it from your settings, but you can never disable it. So the best way to use it is to make a separate save file where you test designs and never to enable it on your main save so you aren't tempted to actually use it. Plus, if it's enabled, you cannot get colony and Steam achievements. Also, be careful not to overdo it because it can kill the joy of actually playing the game. It took me 3 years to get back to the game after I gave myself too much freedom with it. Teleporters exist only in spaced out world. They're exactly what they claim to be and allow you to send solid materials to the asteroid closest to you, and are a way to make the whole multiplanetary experience easier. If I played the classic style, I disable them because I have the means to set up my own transport solution. Hopefully now you understand all the settings and know exactly what type of world you want to play on. There's just one thing left to figure out: DLCs, their corresponding asteroids, and how they tie into the whole experience. Click on the video on the left to watch the second part of this series that explains all this, or click on the video on the right to learn to play the game from start to finish, from what duplicates are best for starting out to how to reach endgame and not lose a single dupe. Thanks for watching and enjoy the game.